Welcome back to A New View, and as promised, we have Edie Bear again with us for this final segment this week, but you're going to just love this segment. This segment is all about realizing your dreams, and as we told you before, Edie's ministry, Kingdom Promoters, she is a dream realizer for a lot of us, and Kim was even sharing that her gifting is to complete other people's dreams, so we're going to go into that and really tell you how Edie's ministry in this area and how Kim did some great things for me. But first we want to just talk to Edie and let her tell you in depth a little bit more about this writer's workshop.
Absolutely. Thank you. This is such a tremendous honor. And I loved what Kim said, that she is a facilitator of other people's dreams. And I mean, that is the crux of the biscuit. That's what God has us do, is I help other people learn how to write, publish, and sell their book. I teach this class across the country. Most of the time it's free. It's available online 24/7. And what it is this. I believe that every single person in the world has a story inside of them. Every single person. And at minimum, you have your testimony. There are people out there that have entire libraries inside of them. And wow. I believe that God gave us all our individual stories. In fact, in the class, I teach that God has a handcrafted, hand-selected obstacle course that He created individually and uniquely for you and for me and for you and for you and for everybody that's watching the show and everybody. He created this obstacle course, and He has trained you how to get through it. All the obstacles, either to go over them, go under them, go around them, or just blow them up. He has shown you how to do that. And it's those stories that He is after in your testimony, because you know what? Everything that you have been through, other people are going through right now, or they will go through the same thing. So that is the reason for the class, is that God gave you your story, and now He wants it back.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome. And we did this.
Like,
we did this.
Breath, that was good. We'll take it.
Stephanie was getting We've been on her about her story.
Well, and I just feel like you're totally like releasing people right now.
Yes, absolutely.
There's people watching, me included, but there's people watching that are like, that woman is reading my mail right now.
Yes.
So
Amen.
that is amazing. Right. I'm so glad that you're just getting right to them and telling them, because people need to hear it.
Yes, so. And they do. And you know, the bottom line too is this, and God is a bottom line God. Right. But the bottom line is this, is that we are all headed up the mountain, all of us at the same time. But the thing is that you're going up on this side and I'm going up on this side. We're all headed to the same place. Right. But we see different things on our way up.
Absolutely. So
true.
Now, there is somebody in front of you on the way up the mountain, and that is your mentor, your pastor, whoever has spoken into your life. But turn around and look behind you, because there are people that are following you. You said it a little while ago, that she's following me and Moses, and it's like, wait a minute, he's a little older than me, but anyway,
he's a little further.
He's a lot further up, right?
Yeah, yeah, he's up
there coaching us up.
Yeah.
That's true. That cloud of witnesses.
Yes.
But you know, honestly, there are people that are looking up to you. You have something that they need, and that is your testimony, how you overcame your challenges, how you overcame child abuse, how you overcame molestation, how you overcame financial crises and struggles and marital relationship stuff. People need to know, because God has put you in their path.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They need to know what you know. So that's the reason for all of these books.
Absolutely. And we took this, actually, we actually hosted, we hosted, Restored Ministries hosted at last year or year before.
I think it's 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. We hosted at a local cafe, Cafe Mauricio in Northwest Houston, which is yummy and awesome.
Yummy.
Pastors are awesome. Pastor Alan and Leona Green. And we hosted it there, and I think we had about 18 people or something.
There was a bunch,
Great turnout. And I actually bought some copies and sent them to some of the bloggers on Restored Ministries blogs, and Washington, Oregon area and things like that. But really, I mean, it was so interesting to take this. And actually, that was my second time to take your workshop, because I think the first time I took it was also in Houston somewhere, and I went and took it. It was Mills Road or somewhere. It was somewhere But I took it first there, and then I said, and you said you host these. I said, I think I'm gonna get some people together and do this, and we probably need to do that again, because I have so many people that tell me, oh, I didn't get to come to your writer's workshop. I really wanted to. Are you gonna do another one? So we actually need to
That's good.
work
Yeah,
on that.
let's talk about that right now. Why don't we just do that? That's a great segue. I do teach this class everywhere across the country. I travel as an itinerant minister, and I try to teach this class everywhere that I go. It's free. It's normally free. Sometimes whoever is hosting me will have a minor charge, but the book is always included. So regardless, if you want to take this class, get a group of people together, contact me. My contact information is underneath the screen. I'll be happy to come out and teach your group how to write, publish, and sell your book, and how to market it, which is very important.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And the thing too I loved is that, sometimes I know that for me, I didn't think that I was, a writer. I used to have people say, "Oh, you need to write that story." Because I'm more of a storyteller. I like to, and I always give them the backstory. I give the whole backstory, and sometimes my kids are like, "Can you just get to the punchline, Mom?" And I'm like,
"Sometimes our editor says that too."
I know she does that too. She's real good for me. And so we always, I like to do the backstory. But I was actually in ordination. To be ordained through Joan Hunter's, and it was Wendy Walters that was there, and she said, something about everybody has a book, and I'm like, no, don't have a book. I don't have a book.
Not me.
I don't have a book. I got a lot of stories, but not me. And actually, I went home, and the Lord gave me a vision that night, because I said, is there a story that I'm supposed to write for you, Lord? Am I supposed to be a writer? Am I supposed to do a book? And he gave me this vision of when I was a young girl. We had this antique drop-down desk, and I would go get my dad's old typewriter, the old, manual one, and put it with a stack of paper, and I would type up short stories and poems and songs. And I mean, my sisters would, love to pick at me, and we would get really great laughs about it. But when I got that vision, I thought, wow, I did want to be a writer as a young girl. It's probably that whole journalism kind of, I don't know, writer journalism. I always thought that was what I wanted to do. And so I said, okay, I will follow you and ask you, what is it? And so I didn't really at first. And then he downloaded a book a year later and gave me the title and all the things. And I was obedient I got to about chapter 8 and then did nothing with it. And then I thought that he was downloading another book, and I got that started, didn't finish it. And then I think he was in a third one, didn't finish that. And then I took Edie's workshop. And I'm telling you, whatever it was, the way you presented it was just so, it was just easy to follow. I mean, it was like book writing for dummies, it was like book,
I'm changing it.
It was
very
just
much
so,
a just do it workshop.
Yes.
With your encouragement and wisdom.
Yes, and it just had so much, and so it was kind of like it peeled back the fear, like, I might be able to do this.
Yes.
I might be able to do this. And then God just changed a lot of different things up. And Kim and I had been walking a few years ago, and we were talking about this idea of these little takeaways on one of the books we thought we were writing. And then last year, earlier this year, I guess it was when we were planning the Live and Love event, Kim said, you're going to write your first book and you're going to go back to a thing like that. But we'll get into that a little bit later of each one that we did. But it really took the fear off of it. But the way that you presented it was we followed it, and it was just like, yes.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I didn't just go and instantly write a book. I mean, there still is fear and things get in the way. And then I had a friend that published a book, and she said that her best piece of advice for writing the book is just butt to chair.
Butt to chair. That's the truth. Butt to chair.
That spoke more volumes to me, and I thought, you're right, because we can go do so much, but if we are not just carving out the time, and then that's what Kim and I did. We made appointments. We did,
made a deadline. Deadlines make a big difference.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
And accountability. You were her
Yes, she was my.
accountability.
Yes, absolutely. So, Edie, tell us about these books, because I believe I
I'd
bought
love
all
to.
your books and
Yeah.
read all of them. So, tell us a little bit about each one.
Absolutely. I would like to start with this black and white one right here. It's called, it's the third one in.
Okay, that
it's
one.
called Spiritual Espionage, Going Undercover for the Kingdom of God. And it sounds like a work of fiction, but it absolutely isn't. I had to walk it out. And the premise, what God did was he had me step down from all of my ministries at church and told me that I was going on this assignment into denominational churches, taking back the ground that the enemy had stolen. Incredible book
a
of
great book.
everything that I went through during this assignment for the Lord. And, you know, interestingly enough, Michelle talked about a little bit about, you know, how people will speak into your life and they're well-meaning, but they discourage you
Yes.
from doing
Yes.
and completing the call that God has on
Right.
your life. Don't listen to people when they tell you you can't do that, because you know what? You can.
Absolutely.
You absolutely can. You are God's child and you can do it. So that's what happened when I got this assignment from the Lord. Our mentor, my husband and my oversight, he thought I had lost my mind, that I was stepping down from my assignments at that church, which I did, and that I was leaving that church, leaving my husband there at that church and going into denominational churches to take back ground. He said, "Are you sure Edie has heard from the Lord?"
Right.
Can you double check that?
My husband, first of all, was like, "Are you sure you heard from God?" And then our oversight said, "Are you sure?" And I was absolutely sure. So needless to say, I went out not knowing I was writing a book. Okay, so listen, you guys, if God has given you an assignment,
Right.
you may not even know why. Just go. Make sure you journal it, though. Make sure you write everything down, because he may have you writing a book. And if, in fact, if your book is not done yet, it may be because your assignment's not complete yet.
Right.
Right? That there's
exactly.
one more chapter, one
Right.
more little piece of information that the
Absolutely.
Lord wants to download to you to get your book in hand. So that was my first book. My second book was called Power. I forgot the name of the book. Power Thieves.
Yes.
Seven,
That
the
was-
first
yeah,
one.
that's- we read that.
7 spirits that steal your power and how to get it back. And boy, let me tell you, I had to walk out every one of those 7 spirits. So my hands-on first-person experience on how I overcame each and every one of those spirits is in this book. Amongst them is Jezebel's spirit,
Right.
spirit of disobedience, rebellion. Do you know that there are demons that are assigned to you to keep you huddled up and folded up in a fetal position in a corner, crying and sucking your thumb, because those demons do not want you to progress and to do the
Right.
ththat that God has called you to do.
Absolutely. That's
So,
absolutely true.
It is the
And
truth.
that's a great, easy read. I mean, I
It
read
is.
it. I think I passed it
Yeah,
on
you
to
gave
you
it
and some
to me.
different people.
Yep.
But I like how in your style, though, is, I mean, it's not... you definitely don't do this huge backstory, but you get right to the point, and it's just right there where you're like, okay, and it's a great, quick, easy read, but it has some great information in there that you wouldn't normally look at and think like, no, that doesn't really happen, but it's true. A lot of people don't believe that we have an enemy that doesn't want to see us succeed, you know.
An enemy and his minions.
Yes,
for sure.
his
Yes.
minions, are all out there and things, and that we have to make sure that we are not letting those spirits keep us from walking out the call that God's given us.
That's right. Amen. So if you're having some warfare, if you're having some struggles, this book might be able to help you. You can find all of these books at the Kingdom Promoters website, and that information is down there at the bottom of the screen. So we have, let me see, the third book I want to say is this Spiritual Lightning Rods, Connected to the Father of Lights book. This book actually was the very first book, but it didn't get written in that order. I was living in a trailer with my son, a little dumpy, rundown trailer with my boy, doing a devotion one morning. Psalm 16 verses 7 through 9, I think, are the scriptures that this book is. Anyway, the Lord broke it down into a book, and he said, "You're going to write a book on this." And I was like, excuse me, have you noticed there's no groceries in the kitchen? You know, it's like God was speaking to me about my destiny. He was speaking to me about my future. See, we get so hung up in the now that we fail to see sometimes that there is an end. Don't forget, God is the Alpha and the Omega. He knows the end from the beginning. So the Lord, this is such an encouraging book. There's a bunch of chapters in here, and they're all different variety of subjects, but the Lord spoke very clearly about destiny through this book, and it is, again, it's called Spiritual Lightning Rods Connected to the Father of Lights. And it's very cool because what he showed me was that every one of us are lightning rods. And if you think about a lightning rod at the top of a building, the lightning hits it and goes right down. And that is how we get downloads from the Lord. So that's very fun. Good. Anyway, the fourth book is called Narco, Awake, O Sleeper. And that book in particular is, that was a hard book for me to write. There's a chapter in there that I absolutely did not want to write. We were talking about obedience a while ago. That chapter is about homosexuality and how the problems that the church has encountered in failing to stand up to that and that kind of thing. And I absolutely did not want to write that chapter in that book because I had been told a story by a Canadian who said that a gentleman in his country had written some tracts against homosexuality, biblically based, scripture, address, everything. And he wound up, 10 years after he wrote them, wound up getting hauled into court. He lost his business, lost his job. He lost everything because of these tracts that he had written on behalf of God. And so when the Lord started talking to me about writing this chapter with our previous presidency, there was some inclination toward that. And I was like, God, my husband would not be very happy with me if I lost everything. He just wouldn't be very happy. But God asked me at that point, he said, who are you afraid of? Wow. Are you afraid of them or are you afraid of me? Who are you going to listen to? And I was like, okay, good enough. So I put it in that book. But Narco, Awake, O Sleeper is 5 areas that the church needed to wake up in. Amongst them was the political system and your giftings, relationship with God, and a couple of different ones. And I don't want to belabor this, but the 1, 2, 3. Oh, this one. This is the fun one. Write that book. Yes. You have a book in you. Now, it's time for you to write it. It's time for you to write your book. If you need help, contact me. If I can help you out in just a couple of quick sentences or a text, trust me, I'll do it. I'll do it for free. Just contact me. I want you to get your book out. This is a ministry. It's a ministry. It is of the Lord, and he wants your story. Okay? Now, the very last book here is called God Speaks, Volume 1. I know. I'm excited.
It looks good.
This is a compilation of visions and prophetic words that the Lord has given to me. There's a second volume. I've only got volume 1 right now. It'll be coming out of the printers. It's actually at the printers right now, but I'll have it later this week. So if you want to order that online, you can order any of these books online. I'll be happy to fulfill that request, and they're all available at Amazon.com also. But God Speaks Volume 1 will be ready this coming week. God Speaks Volume 2, I'm starting to work on that right now. So,
well, that's what I just love, because we were just talking about that we can sabotage our own dreams, and sometimes, like you said, on the spiritual lightning rod, God gave you that, but it was to be released at a further time. So now I know the book that he kind of downloaded, and it was it's more about my testimony in different areas. I know that is for a future time, and things. So then when Kim and I, actually, she was like, you're going to have this book done. But before she told me that, God had given me a prophetic vision 2 years ago called A Call to Valor. And I was in a season of fasting, and it was like God was speaking to me, and I was like, this is so new to me, because like I said, I had heard, different things. I knew God spoke to me, but I wouldn't have classified myself in the prophetic. But I was like, what do you want me to do with this thing? So he gave me this whole beautiful thing called A Call to Valor, and then he unpacked when I kept seeking him and saying, what do you want me to do with this prophetic word? And he was like, this is the book I want you to write. Awesome. And he unpacked all the chapters. So Kim and I actually had been meeting and working on that book, and then in the interim preparing for our last conference in February, she said, you're going to do your book, and this was something I did years ago, these little prayer scripts, and I would take different Bible verses that would speak on a certain subject. I would turn them first person, do prayers, and I would send that to people because actually I was a smoker. I smoked cigarettes for many years, and I tried everything to stop, and the thing that worked for me was God. I finally surrendered, and I said, I don't want to be in bondage to this anymore.
Yes.
And so he delivered me from that over 10 years ago. But I had done these little prayer scripts. So our message in February was the Live in Love conference. And so this was funny because my verse was perfect love cast out all fear. And I was a person that fear kept me from doing a lot of things in my life. And I would not have thought that because people would say, oh, you're so bold, Michelle, and you got up there and rapped with Mandisa in front of 30,000 folks, you're not afraid of anything, but God was showing me that there were areas that I was fearful. I was fearful what other people thought, or just fear was just gripping me, and actually it was that whole fear and doubt that was keeping me tossed about like a wave, and things. So Kim and I, we birthed.
Got it done.
Actually, we said, we're going to do this. She said, actually, we had a goal for one, but in true twin fashion form, having twins, we published two at a time. And so we did Your Prescription for Fear, Your Prescription for Healing were the first two that we actually had published first of this year.
Awesome.
But God gave us such an interesting thing when he downloaded this, and it was to have people to submit their photos.
Yeah, that's really neat.
Everybody is capturing all these great photos and sharing them on Instagram or Facebook, but to share these and to put them in there with these 31 daily declarations and prayers so that you can overcome. If you're gripped by fear, those fear factors only get removed by the faith-filled promises of God. Amen. So we did Your Prescription for Fear and then Your Prescription for Healing. And I have to say, I was a little bit apprehensive to write Your Prescription for Healing because I was expecting healing in my body in areas that had not manifested yet. And I thought, how can I write a book on healing if I've not experienced healing in certain areas that I've really been standing on His Word, believing, and I just haven't seen it come through yet. But I thought that's exactly how we build our faith. That's exactly how we do it. We stand on the Word of God and we declare those things that aren't as though they were so that we can say, this is what you say. You're not a respecter of persons. And I'm just telling you, I've just found so much awesomeness in this book. And I have people that just submit these photos and they're really great. So we did two at a time. And then we did two more at a time. And we actually got 4 done. The last time. I'm telling you, she's an accountability partner. She's an amazing editor. She is just amazing all around. And we got all of these. And so it's Your Prescription for Overcoming Temptation and Your Prescription for Joy, Hope, and Peace. And actually, we're working on the final 2 in this prayer script series. There'll be 8 total. It's Your Prescription for Forgiveness, and then we're doing an 8th one, Your Prescription for Purity, and things, because you'll see in a few weeks we're going to have Laura Gallier on the show, and she has a big purity ministry and kind of why we decided to do that one. But like I said,
I have a question for you guys. Did you have the vision for 8 going in, or was that revealed as you got started?
We had 7.
Yeah.
Our vision was 7, and then we got 8. And then now that we've talked about it, I think Laura even said, I think you're going to end up with a dozen of these by the time you're done. I'm like, oh, I hope not, because we're still wanting to finish. Our big feature is the Call to Valor, and that's what we're working on. But it's amazing how he worked all of this out, and by taking Edie's workshop, it took the fear and said, this is how we can do it. And I think I even contacted you like, oh, we're at this point, but we're not sure we can go forward. And then I went to Kim and I said, I contacted Edie, we can have her finish them this and that. And Kim was like, we have all the information that Edie gave us that we need. We can do this.
Go, Kim.
And we did. I'm telling you, it was getting it in the Kindle format for Amazon. That's a little scary, but they have great customer service and things. And so my books are all available on Amazon. And you can actually, we have 6 of them available now, and you can go to our website and you can hit the donate button. And for the rest of the month of September, we're going to run what we do with the conference special is we're going to run that you can get the first 6 of these books available for a donation of $55 or more. So you can go and do that and take advantage of that special now till the end of the month.
I have a special too. Can I announce
Yes,
that?
absolutely.
That's
Tell
awesome. I have the Write That book. I have the Write That Book workbook. I have the Write That Book CD and DVD available for $35.
Awesome.
They are normally $15 a piece, which is $60 total value for this set that's available for $35. So just contact me. Email would probably be best because I don't think that special is on the website.
Okay.
But thank you for mentioning
Yes,
that.
yes. So definitely. So we'll put those on your Facebook page and different things like that. And that's a great tool to have. And like I said, you can do your own kind of things or just contact Edie and she'd be glad to come and do the whole workshop with you. And
Absolutely.
we'll try to get our calendar and see if we can get another one too in the community
set it up
and
in
do
the area.
that.
Yeah.
So I have another question. Oh, I don't want to interrupt. Okay, but Kim, I'm listening and I'm thinking, so what's some of this secret sauce? What's some of this, that you've helped Michelle like really dig in and get some of this stuff done? I want to hear some of
I
that.
think you can really hear when someone has it in them, when there's something they need to really put the butt to the chair and really stick with. And if you can guide them to stay on that point, and we know what yours is, we'll get there. But it's taking taking your dream. Some people dream of writing a book. It's taking that dream and actually turning it into a goal, and by putting action steps to it, and kind of forcing some of those people who have that vision to sit down and get there.
Very good.
And that's our takeaway verse, actually, is James 1:22 is be doers of the word, not hearers only. And you're going to love our hashtag this week. So we want you to go to do hashtag share your view, hashtag ANew view. But the hashtag for this show is dreams take hustle.
Kim came up with that one.
Well,
How appropriate.
and again, I saw it. My friend Carrie is an inspirer of the people, and she posted, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. So thank you, Carrie.
Yes.
And then again, I just want to say I have this vision of the tree, and we're standing under it with our dream, holding our dream up and looking at the dream and looking at the fruit, and we're waiting for the fruit to fall into our hands so that our dream will be accomplished. We're not out shaking the tree or climbing the tree or throwing something at the tree just in hopes of getting it started, but you need to move. We need action.
Hustle.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
The dreams take
Hustle.
hustle. So we thank you again for joining us for ANew view. We hope that you've enjoyed all 3 of these segments, that you will contact Edie Bear and her ministries, that you'll take advantage of our book specials, Edie's book specials, and that you will connect with us on social media, use those hashtags, and join us next week for ANew view.